We'll see. Da-da-da. Your YouTube is weird. I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
Well, I don't like going through your YouTube. We need to figure out if we're going to do one on a separate one.
Oh yeah.
But hey, it says we're live. Cool, yeah, we're live.
And
All right.
interested parties, send me a text to let me know you're hearing all the voices.
Let me. All right, cool. I can hear me, Anderson, Keith. Cool. I think we're golden with that one. All right, now we'll start the official intro. Hey everyone, I'm Kristian. I'm with Keith over here, Keith Browning. Say hey, Keith.
Hello.
And I'm with Anderson Carmen. Say hey.
I'm on camera today.
Hey, we got to see your face. Your beautiful, beautiful face.
It's been a real drag not having you around.
I mean, I think our viewership's going to go up with everyone seeing your face.
You're welcome.
What can I say except you're welcome? What are you guys working on today?
I am coloring this dude. This is some promo art for my cyber baseball comic. So this is the picture for the Roadrunners. So I'm making some baseball card art to make little baseball cards, sort of as like a promo business card type thing that I'll just give out. But I'm making a couple of them, so I'm just coloring this one up. And then I've got more stuff to talk about this comic later because it's coming out soon. So yeah, that's what.
I didn't think about that. You should do a thing with trading cards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you get a bunch of your buds to do them.
Oh.
And then you got all these. Yeah, it's like different players, but it's also different artists.
Yeah,
that could be fun. That could be a lot
of fun. Or you get a terrible one drawn by a writer.
Ah.
Yeah. Keith, what are you working on today?
A rare exclusive.
Exactly.
What does it look like? I'm working on a Frank Einstein from that old Madman. You know.
Okay.
Remember, well, the first time we did a stream, I started sketching one digitally, and then I just moved on and didn't do anything with it because I was just doodling. But
I was about to ask. One. I remember you drawing one before, but I know this is a different version, I guess.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Like I said the last time, I just closed the app and moved on.
Nice.
But this time we're gonna
keep in that energy.
We're gonna make it look great, or you are, and I'm just gonna talk during the whole time. But anyways, so here's how today's gonna work out a little bit differently. We got a certain subject that we're gonna talk about later. After we're done talking about that subject, anybody who's in the chat, feel free to send questions throughout the stream. I'll relay them to both Anderson and Keith. But any questions, any major questions, I'll probably leave them to the end so we can have a little Q&A, kind of like a panel. I think that would work out. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way you guys can also focus on the drawing. People can see that and also listen to our beautiful voices. Cool. But before we start on our main subject today, is there anything in the past month that you guys have been doing that you want to share? Whether it's professionally or just for fun.
Oh, I didn't think about the just for fun stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, just for fun? I want to hear about that just for fun stuff.
Yeah.
I did learn. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
This lag actually might be killing us. This lag, I don't know if it's on everybody's end, but it's kind of on our end. We'll see. We'll see if it affects the viewership. But I learned the gender of my baby, but my wife does not know. But I'm officially keeping secrets from my wife, or a secret. But the more important thing that we learned at our last ultrasound is that our baby has 6 fingers.
Oh, nice.
Like,
Genetics.
My wife. Yeah, so my wife was born with 12 fingers. But the extra fingers on her pinky, they were, I don't think vestigial the right word? It's called polydactyly, but
yeah,
they weren't actually functioning. They're just like little nubbins. Um,
interesting.
but polydactyly, the families that have it, it runs rampant in those families. So honestly, my wife has been hoping for a 6-fingered child pretty much ever since she started having kids.
That's an interesting
And so this
thing to
one,
hope for.
yeah, she's kind of funny like that. Um, so anyways, this one has at least 6 fingers on one hand, possibly the other, maybe some extra toes, although that hasn't happened in the family yet that we know of, or that I know of at least. Maybe they're holding out on me. But yeah, so that's fun and exciting.
Yeah. So
What you gonna do with them?
Well, I'm trying to convince her that if it's functioning, we should let the kid keep it because that's just awesome. Like if I found out that I had a functioning 6th finger and my parents had it removed, I'd probably be pretty livid.
I don't know. Like it makes life, you know.
yeah,
See, that's what
Wearing gloves,
you can get mittens.
and I feel
like
like
Penguin in
if
Batman
you're
Returns.
Why does everyone mention gloves first? Like mittens are not hard
well,
to find.
what? That's a compromise, though. Like a lot of
Well,
people
I
don't
wear
want to wear
gloves and they just don't do anything for me because I have terrible
I mean,
circulation.
we
So
all
there's
live
that.
in the South, though. So how often do you wear mittens?
See, also
So feels
my
like a good
second point.
Oh, I'm glad you think that you made a good point. Good old.
I think it was me, but sure, you can take the credit.
So what about you, Keith? What's new with you?
Um, no children. Polydactyly running in my family. Uh, uh, aside from stuff we talked about last time, and well, I don't know if we talked about it. Like we finished the Stardust story.
Yep.
I don't know if we had
Yep, yeah, we
finished
did.
it
Mm-hmm.
at that point, but oh, we hadn't finished it. Yeah, because you got the colors like finalized
Yeah, I
last
only
week.
just did it like
Okay, so
mid-month.
Stardust story is done in the pipe. Somebody has to letter it. Not our problem. Um,
Nice.
everybody liked it, so super excited
Resounding
to see that
reviews. Yeah.
That's
in
good.
print. Be in print with this guy, not this guy, but Mike Allred's in the book. That would be cool.
Yeah.
And then I started writing and laying out
Hmm.
like my own book, which Christian, I already sent it out to a few people to alpha read and start kind of getting things
Yep.
together because Christian has read and sent me some stuff. And it's
Yeah,
the kind
sorry,
of
I need
thing
to
where,
actually send you notes. You sent it to me. I just didn't give you feedback yet.
yeah, well, so I sent it to you, and then I had about a week, I guess, to be able to really sit on what's going on with the thing and think about it and think about what I'm trying to do and what I think does and doesn't work in comics. And then I went back through it and did some heavy revisions.
I did a quick read over
Like,
it earlier today, and
mhm.
I think it's definitely going the right direction without letting everyone else know. We can talk more off the stream, but
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's on a better path.
Yeah, sometimes there's things that I think of that I think would work better when you have the help of like music and
Mm.
I'm like things in film that just don't work that well in comic and things
Hmm.
where I like things that are ambiguous and play in that space, but I'm not sure how well it works in comics with
Mm.
in a lot of situations. So that's a
I
big
think
thing
it,
is go ahead.
I think in general that is a very difficult thing of knowing how much to trust your audience, like to sort of just figure something out or like that's it's very difficult to know if something's working by itself.
There's
So,
also the degree of it where in my like I had other people look over my stuff before where there's things I don't explain because I feel like it's obvious, but that's only obvious because it's in my head.
Right. Yes, I've run into that.
So I've done
Yeah,
that a few times.
I wasn't having that problem, I don't think, so much as thinking that I like it when things are really ambiguous, but I don't know if that generally connects with people because if things are really ambiguous, they have trouble latching on anything
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
caring. And yeah, and if you're not starting off with some kind of like mystery hook to like pull people in, then ambiguous characters can be a little bit tough to swallow or to
Yeah.
want to hang out with.
Hmm.
You want to
So
give enough where people are still intrigued, but not give too much away. So that's cool.
yeah, but so I'm assuming Anderson, you read the thing like days ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
Well,
pretty
I read
simple.
it like when you sent it to me. I, I just didn't circle the wagons to send you my thoughts.
Okay, yeah, it's well, we can talk about it
Yeah.
at some other point, I guess. But
I
yeah,
don't think you want to
Christian.
spoil too much, but it's something to look forward
No,
that you're
I
making.
meant as far as like Christian. You think he should just reread it? Do you think his notes will be helpful? I don't know. Uh, I thought like your notes were helpful though,
Oh,
Christian.
thank you. I try. I
Um,
al- I try whenever people
it
ask me
was
to read stuff that I don't
so.
necessarily put my own input as much.
I'm gonna give you a very specific example, and I can explain it so that people will understand where
Okay.
a character, and it's like a thing, and the kind of thing I think is funny, and is meant as a joke
Yeah.
or as just like a silliness,
Mhm.
is a character referring to a place where it right character refers to a place, and the place is called Isla Capra,
Yep. Yep.
and the the word Isla also looks like a lady's name,
Yeah.
and then having the character respond, still talking about a place, but
Yeah.
referring to the place with a feminine gender, as in I know the place, I know her, I know her shores, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing is interesting to me to have this name of a place. It kind of sounds like a woman's name, but it's not clearly. Um,
Yeah.
and then a character just kind of playing with that and moving on. But then, like your note where you're like, "Who is this lady?"
Yeah.
I
Uh,
idea who that is, and it cracked me up because it's Spanish.
yeah. Okay. Look, I know I'm half Mexican and I should know some Spanish, but I was raised by a white woman, so
I
there's only so much I could do.
I thought it was very funny.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that because after I reread the second version you did, I was like,
Mhm.
oh, it's a place. That
Yeah,
makes way more sense.
I mean, in the thing, the guy literally says, "Where is the thing?"
Yeah,
Isla Capra. Like I felt like I had set it up just fine, but it also was me playing in a space where I'm like, I don't even know how if people think the things that I think are funny,
yeah,
because it's generally just like very, very dry, just like silly little I don't know.
yeah. Well, there's parts in there where you have like some pretty good dry humor that I think stuck really well, but it's hard to do comedy. Like I know that's
Yeah,
like
well, I'm
a
not like
cliche way of doing it,
clearly not,
but
I'm not gonna be writing any jokes.
yeah,
It's
Well,
like, and I generally don't find a
comedy,
lot of humor in jokes.
yeah,
It's more
comedy
in
in comics is particularly difficult because so much of comedy is the pacing.
yeah,
And when you don't have total control over pacing, like that's one of the unique things about comics is the little amount of control you have over pacing and then like specific control that you have with like page turns and things. But I mean, it's tricky to do for sure.
yeah. So, but I'm excited to reread it and give you more notes if you allow me. I love doing that.
yeah, do your thing.
Yeah.
I'm happy to accept stuff like this. Like I'm not a, and I don't unless I don't know, unless you're really, really talented and confident. Like I'm not a person that's precious with things like I
Yeah.
make. I want people to like help me tear it apart and figure it out and make something better. Because it's just stuff. Just
Yeah.
Just stuff, bruh.
It's just
Bruh.
just stuff. It's just human expression.
Yeah. I had somebody over the past month look over some of my stuff. Uh, Alex Morrissey. You guys know him, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
mean
he was
Jalix?
Jalix.
Yeah,
Jalix.
Jalix. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I sent it to him. He had
So
as
funny.
well.
But he does this thing because this is the second time he's called me with when I asked him to look over something of mine, and he's like, "Cool, here's all the things I didn't like," and he just gives me a whole list of stuff, which is what I asked for. So I'm not gonna get like offended over any of that. But he's like, "Yeah,
Once
I like it, but this is the main stuff that that I think you need to fix, or that I didn't enjoy, or so on and so forth." And it was
and sometimes those are the most important notes to get of like
yeah,
what do you not like? What is like I have a writing group and they were looking at the scripts for the naturals. And there was one bit they're like, "Yeah, I don't care about this scene at all."
yeah,
Like at all. And it's supposed to be like a big emotional beat. So I was like, "Okay, well that's sucks."
it's tough, right?
Uh so it's like because then it's like, well, if this is super important, I just need to find a way to make it you connect with it.
Yeah,
Or maybe I need to kill my darlings and say, okay, this doesn't need to be here.
yeah, that's always tough.
I think I know what they're talking about.
Oh
Let
shush.
Let's just spoil it right here and right now
Let's
to
just-
everyone. So,
No.
how about
No.
we talk about some stuff
The
that we
car
do
crash
like?
scene in Anderson's book.
That was I don't think there's is there a car crash scene?
Yeah, the emotional car crash scene.
Oh, there is an emotional car crash scene. Yes, and that yeah. It's not a literal car crash, but there's a traumatic moment in a car.
Gotcha.
I don't know anything about that.
Hilarious. Hey,
Anyways, you were
how about we
saying
talk about something that we all like? You guys want to talk
da, da,
about?
da, da, da.
You guys want to talk
Funny.
about movies that inspire us?
Let's talk about movies that inspire us, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So here's what we're gonna do. While these two are drawing, so they don't have to worry too much about starting conversations or subjects, I gave them a idea of something that Keith also suggested of just listing off movies that inspire them. So we're gonna kind of talk about it, kind of show what our inspiration kind of comes from, things that we like. I hate complaining about movies or other people's art because they work so hard about it. So I'd like to do a little bit more of a positive spin on it. So yeah, we're just gonna go one by one talking about the movies, something that we like, and then why we like it, and maybe have a little bit more of a discussion of it. If you guys have any movies that you like and you guys want to talk about, send them in the chat. I'll bring them up. It'll be easy. But yeah, either of you guys want to go first, or shall I?
You should go first,
Yeah, I'll go.
Mr. Host.
What?
okay.
I'll go.
Oh, what? Huh? Oh no.
We'll go alphabetical order. Let's go with Anderson first.
Hey.
A second. I see what he did there.
So one
Mr.
of the
KR.
one of the movies that was a huge inspiration to me early on was the movie Super 8 by J.J. Abrams.
Great one.
It was kind of in that magical period where like anything was possible, like in my head, you know. And it's a movie about kids making a movie, and then shenanigans and stuff take place in the background. But it's also I don't think it's J.J. Abrams' directorial debut. It might be, but he is working with Steven Spielberg as the producer, and so it's sort of J.J. Abrams like coming into the coming onto the scene as a movie maker. But I remember watching that movie. I want to say it came out in 2011, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, you'd be
Um,
right.
yeah, I feel pretty good about that.
All right.
Um, it yeah, watching that movie, I was like, I want to make movies. And I mean that's very much changed since then because now I make comics, which is kind of the one man band or three-man band of making
Yeah.
movies. Um, but I was just like, oh, telling stories is so great. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. It's so um the emotion you can get out of people and all that like is delightful. And that movie just has some great like terror and like setup. It's kind of a like it's more of a modern remake of those classic Spielberg movies where like it's a bunch of kids in danger,
Mm-hmm.
um, but they never really feel like there are real stakes, like people die in the movie, um, but it's not quite a horror film, right?
It
It's
it it's like a sci-fi. Is I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
it's such an interesting
Um,
movie though. I like it's one of the few movies that kind of feels low budget, even though I'm sure it had so much money.
yeah, it has like crazy special effects in it and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's just this great like underpinning storyline between the main boy and his dad and
Mm-hmm.
their relationship with their deceased mother and how they're dealing with it and all this and just like the way that the stories all kind of close at the end. um it's just kind of like I've watched the movie since, and it's kind of just like comfort food. Like it's super heartwarming. um but I found it just so inspiring at the time to be like, all right, I want to make movies. I want to tell stories.
Yeah.
Um, so that was the first one that came to mind. So I thought it was worth mentioning first.
That's a good one. All right. Keith, would you like to go
I
next?
haven't. I was just being quiet during that because I haven't seen it.
Oh.
You haven't seen it?
No, I do
All
remember
right.
starting it because I didn't remember anything about it until you brought up the kid's like dead mom, and then I remembered like,
Yeah, I
oh
mean that's
yeah,
like the opening.
there's like a guy who's responsible for it, who's like the dad of his girlfriend or something like that.
Yep, yep.
I remember that because I was like, that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in.
Dead
I
moms.
want to explore that. No, that guy's guilt and responsibility
Hmm.
and all that stuff. That kind of thing that can weigh on a person
Yeah.
because
I haven't
just
seen that movie in a while. That's definitely going to be something I need to check out again because I loved
I
his Cloverfield movie.
I definitely
Yes.
started it, and I remembered a thing with a train. They're like making a movie and a train crashes,
Yes.
Yes,
right?
I remember
Epic
that.
train crash. Epic
Okay.
train crash.
I don't think I saw it after that because I never saw a monster or anything like that.
Okay.
Bummer.
There is a
Oh
monster.
no! Oh no!
There's always a monster with J.J. Abrams movies.
Mm.
Mm.
Anyway, yeah, the way that I did my list was not, I did not try to put together a list of my favorite movies or like the biggest things that like had the most effect on me because I'd be sitting there all day trying to think about it. I literally
Yeah,
just like the first five things that popped into my head, like things that like
that stuck with
energized
you.
me. Well, I use the term like literally like energizes. Like sometimes I'll see something and it'll just make me want to make stuff.
Hmm.
It'll that kind of feeling. Um, and I think the first one I'll bring up is Thunder Road. I don't know if any of you guys have
Thunder
seen or heard of
Road.
it.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a little in. Well, I don't. Again, I guess I don't know how little it is, but it's an indie um, dramedy, like a little bit of a black comedy.
Okay.
That I would very much recommend you check out. And it was actually so it was a short film, and it's basically about it's my favorite cop movie. It's or second favorite after Men in Black, I guess.
Ooh, so good.
No, that's a joke. I like Thunder Road a lot more.
Okay,
Um,
whatever. Mm,
yeah, so it's about a small town cop that is dealing with the immediate like emotions of his mom dying. And I mean, it's super, super, like super tight, just like character comedy drama where it's just, and the comedy is exactly the kind of comedy that like just has me the whole time, where
Mm-hmm.
there's no jokes or anything. It's all situations, characters, and who they are, how it's set up, and them being in these situations, on how they react to the things around them in little, like really human ways, where
Hmm.
like I'm constantly like I'm not, well, a lot of times I'm not laughing at them. It's mostly I'm laughing like with the guy who's making the movie,
Yeah.
and it also like it's a pretty emotional movie where the it's based on a short film that the guy made that was like it won Sundance for short films the year it came out, and it's a
Ooh.
12-minute long single shot of the guy going, the main character giving a eulogy at his mom's funeral. Like it's just a single shot. He gets up to do it, um, and there's he does so much like with the relatability of it that you're
Mm-hmm.
like sitting there watching this thing, and I'm telling you, it's a 12-minute long short film, and it's literally the first 12 minutes of the movie. They ended up just making a movie, and you watch the first 12 minutes of this short film, and it ends, and it is not a, oh, that was a short film. It's like, oh, where's that going?
Yeah.
And then
Hmm.
they made a movie. Like it totally like went right into making a movie out of it. But I rewatched it, because it was only 12 minutes. I just rewatched it real quick, and or I don't think I'd seen the actual short film, but it legitimately like is cracking me up and making me choke up in this 12-minute short
Oh.
film. Like he's, because of how, just the way that it's presented. And yeah, that kind of comedy. Do you know the Wolf of Snows, or the Wolf of Snow Hollow? Snows Hollow is
Um.
it's like a, it's like an indie horror comedy about a
Wait, was that
werewolf and
made
a,
by Jim Cummings?
yeah.
Okay. Oh, is that the Thunder Road? This is the like newer one.
No, Thunder Road came first.
Okay, but like that was the one from 2018 you're talking about.
Yeah, Thunder Road, and then he made,
Oh. I was looking at a movie from 1958. I was like, wow, you're really into old movies.
oh no.
Yeah.
um
The Wolf of Snow Hollow. I saw that this past October and I loved it.
okay, so that kind of humor,
Okay.
Thunder Road is way better.
Okay. Good to know.
And that's not me trying to say anything about So's Hollow. Like just like you remember the moment where that guy rolls his window up,
Mm-hmm.
like that kind of moment, like had me rolling.
Oh.
Um, and it's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Okay. I thought so. This whole time, I thought you were talking about like a movie from before 1960, and I
No,
was like, I
Ah.
guess I've never heard of it.
no, I wouldn't have
Uh,
done that.
And I just looked it up, and I was like, oh, I know who this guy is. I loved his stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 So I wasn't gonna like drop the guy's name because I'm assuming people won't know him by name, but
Check out any of Jim Cummings' stuff, even though he has the same name as the voice actor for Winnie the
I
Pooh.
was just about to ask. I was like, the voice of Pooh?
Yeah, no, I thought
that's
the same thing.
no, I'll watch anything that guy has anything to do with.
It's
Um,
so good.
but yeah, so you like his stuff? Yeah, watch Thunder Road.
Oh, look at that.
Um,
That's going on my
yeah,
list. Boop. That's cool. Nice.
yeah.
Thank you for the
Your turn,
recommendation.
Bozo.
My turn. I kind of did the same thing as you did with like the first 5 movies or whatever movies I could think of. The first one that came to mind was The Nice Guys with
Oh, Shane
yeah.
Black.
I actually haven't seen this. I've been dying to see it
It is
forever.
it is such an amazing like detective movie that does comedy the right way. Like I'm a sucker for any movies where like the main
Yeah.
characters are just like terrible people, but they still have to do the right thing.
Yep.
And that's kind of the whole movie throughout it. And this was like what, 2016, like years before Barbie, and it was like Ryan Gosling's like first comedic role, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess he's kind of funny.
You
And then
killed it.
Barbie came out and was like, oh no, he's actually a funny guy as well. That's that's not fair. But yeah, no, the movie, I love it so much because the story throughout it is so great. It doesn't really have necessarily a super happy ending, which I'm I'm not the biggest fan of endings that are like perfectly wrapped up in a bow because it's not as realistic. But this one does it really well. It still keeps like the comedy of it, kind of keeps the seriousness of like Ryan Gosling's character is a drunken PI detective who has a daughter who kind of hates him, and Russell Crowe is a mercenary for the most part who's trying to do the right thing, but he always beats people up, so it's not as nice. But God, it is
I rem-
like
I remember seeing a scene in it might have been like in promotional material or something, and this scene alone made me want to watch the movie. And it's the bit where Ryan Gosling drops the cigarette in his pants while he's on the toilet,
yeah, he
and it
he's
was
like
just the best comedy like acting I've ever seen. Just this guy scrambling, he's holding a gun on someone, and
yeah.
he drops a cigarette in his pants, and it is just hilarious.
He just has no problem making himself look like an idiot throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful movie all the way through. I've rewatched it like maybe 5 times, and I've taken a lot of inspiration from it personally.
It's
Just because I think it's just
genuinely frustrating that he doesn't like make more of those.
well, you know
Like
what his like
we had
movie
Kiss
right
Bang
after.
Bang, and then what was right after Predators?
Yep, the terrible Predators movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I was so excited, like to
Hmm.
like his name, and it's a Predator movie. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, and I'll see that in theaters.
Yep.
That was a bad time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Came
It
out
was a
during my
real bad
birthday,
time.
and I saw
That
it
might be
for my
like
birthday.
that might be like his one flop. Like seriously though.
Yeah. Has he made anything else since then?
Gosling?
No.
He was in
Shane
Blade.
Taylor.
I was like, what?
No, Gosling. I know he's been in everything. Or Shane Black.
Yeah, I don't remember him doing anything else since then.
Eh, whatever.
Anyway,
Yeah, that was probably his last one that he did. But yeah, that would be like my top one that I think is just an amazing movie. Stylistically, it takes place in like the 1970s, 1960s. And
oh, that's weird because I don't even think about it taking place then. If
yeah,
like I
Los
think of it
Angeles,
taking place kind of
1970s.
like more modern, but everybody's dressed like they're in the 70s. But
It's,
I don't know why I would think that.
well, like it's a movie that shouldn't work because it's like a comedy noir with the way it
So
takes.
right.
Yeah, because it's a detective story in Los Angeles, 1970s, but it's a buddy cop story as well, with neither of them being a cop. So, not made for kids, by the way, especially in the first 5 minutes. There's a porn star that dies in the beginning.
Spoiler, jeez.
Fair warning. But yeah, alrighty. Anderson, you want to go next with your choice, or you want to go back to Keith?
Yeah, I can go again.
Cool.
What was the next one on my list? I didn't write it down.
Suck.
Okay, so going from sort of like inspiring to make movies, more broadly inspiring in terms of like the story itself, is the movie Amadeus, which is about Amadeus Mozart.
Ooh.
But it's told from the perspective of Salieri, who, and there's some liberties taken with the historicity of the story. But Salieri was represents his many competitions or competitors at the time. And Salieri is just always in Mozart's shadow, and it is just this crazy fight for dominance where Mozart is just he's not even like breaking a sweat to be the best, and Salieri is busting his balls to be the best composer. And there's like these weird moments where Mozart like there's a song that Salieri does or that he composes, and everybody hates it, but Mozart loves it, and he's like, "That's all I care about," because I know that he knows what he's talking about and what he's talking about.
Oh.
And then there's like a Mozart song or concert that totally flops, and Salieri is sitting there going, "This is freaking genius what this guy is doing right now, and nobody can see it." And so it's kind of this crazy thing. So what's inspiring to me about it is just surrounding your, and in the movie it's more combative, but just surrounding yourself with other people that are better than you and how that pushes you to be better. I mean, just to blow some smoke up some people. I feel like I do that with you guys specifically. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and I told him how I'm threatened by each of you in a good way. Like I look at each of you and I go, I look at you and I'm like, you're at such a level, the way that you're producing, that I need to be better. Not because I want to take a job from you or any sort of, thing like that, but just the general idea of seeing how you guys produce and how you guys make art and tell stories. I'm like, I want to be better. I want to push. I want to do more. So
that's
anyways, that's Amadeus.
That's a very healthy way of looking at it, though. I feel similar with you guys, where anytime I see you guys doing something really cool, and I was like, I'm jealous in a way of like, why am I not doing something as cool as you guys? Which, like, it's never like exactly as you said, where I'm like, well, if you're doing this, that means I'm failing. I don't really see it like that. I just see you guys being at a certain level, and I want to be at that same level. And there's a part of competitiveness that's like, I want to try to be a little better than you if I can.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's not in the sense of like I despise you and that's why I have to be better. It's the man, I because better is almost even the wrong, because it's better than I am currently. It's not better than you. Because I think that's where people can get it twisted, is they're like the competition is I got to be better than you, and that's not what I have a desire for. It's I want to be better than me. Seeing how good you are pushes me in that direction. So
it's a mutual respect idea of it.
Yeah,
It's like you said, where I see myself at a certain level and I know I can go higher, but I also see you guys at a little bit of a higher level. It's like I need to get up there and then try to keep up, if not try to go further.
Yeah.
Which that's very cool. That's another one I'm adding to my watch list.
So very, very good movie. It is, like I said, it's not as competitive. It's not as healthy as the lesson I took from it. So I remember I went away from watching it feeling a little heavy because of like what a downer the movie is. But it is a really good movie. It's well told. It's
is it
it's a very long movie.
Is it similar to Whiplash in any way?
Yes, yeah, it's very similar to that. Whiplash, other movies sort of in this vein that I really like are Whiplash and Tick Tick Boom. Where it's the story of a creative, and you kind of walk away from it going, "Oh my god, that sucks," but I do want to make something now.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
for whatever that's worth.
Keith, before we get to you, I just want to let you know that Iki is in the chat as well. Good old Iki.
Iki!
Iki did say that their favorite
Is it
movie,
E.T. with a K?
IKKI.
Okay.
So I assume that's right. I hope it's Iki. If it's not right, please let me know. But they said their number one movie is Hook, and
Okay.
I'm really upset I didn't think about that one because that was one that I grew up as a child watching.
Yeah, that's
Like,
that's just yeah.
I
We're,
wore
we're all of
that
that
one out.
age.
That's kind of standard.
That one, like, if someone doesn't like that movie, you know they're a bad person.
Or they were an adult when it came out.
No.
I could
No,
see, I'm
just
just saying, I could
just
see like
evil.
an adult that has no nostalgia wrapped around it wouldn't enjoy it.
Gross. Terrible. All right. What about you, Keith? What's your next one?
My next movie? Kiki's Delivery Service.
Ooh.
Hey.
That's my
Which,
favorite one of his.
Mine too. And
I have
I
not
think,
seen this one.
like with a lot of people, uh, it tends to be the first one you saw, and that's why so many people latch on to Spirited Away, because that was the big breakout one over here.
Yeah.
And it's also, I mean, it's great. Like, I'm not gonna argue that Kiki's Delivery Service is better. It's just the one that like opens up something in me more. It was the first one I saw. It was the first one that showed me this kind of storytelling and what it could be, and the way it feels, and being able to have a story that is not this big bombastic thing, that's enjoying smaller moments. And I don't want to say like a meandering story, but just this kind of life happening. And it's a movie that has grown up with me, where like as a kid I just got wrapped up in just how cool it is, the idea of just being like a witch flying around in this like pre or just like I guess it's like pre World War II like German town, just how cool that is. And then as I get older, it's like, oh, I really relate to like the burnout element of it and what she goes through. And then just the idea of like being able to have this little existence and live in this like chill place. Really grew up with, I really grew into that feeling of the there's that quaint lack of modernity to the setting.
It's such a awesome movie. I think there's a movie on my list that's I picked because it's like a coming of age story, and I'm a sucker for those kinds of stories. And that's what I feel like Kiki Delivery Service did. I don't know if you agree with that.
Oh no,
but
I mean that's what it is a coming of age story, and it's a sad one.
Yeah.
Like, cause yeah, if you watch like the English dub on it she has a, if you haven't seen the movie, she has a cat. She's a witch and she has a cat named Gigi that talks to her, and they're friends, and he's like a wise cracking cat the whole time. But there's an element where that's something that you can only do as a child. And then when you grow up, you can't talk to your cat anymore. And by the end of the movie, she goes through all this stuff, and then there's like right at the end of the movie, suddenly the cat's meowing. And like her friend the whole time, and it's not treated as this sad thing where she's upset about it. It's just something that she accepts because she's growing. But yeah, they got rid of that in the English dub. They just have like Phil Hartman just sitting there still being like, wow, look at this hot lady cat. Kiki.
They took out where he just turns into a cat, or she can't talk to him anymore.
No. They made it so that he's still talking.
Oh,
so
that's
so weird.
You lose that, which, like, I mean, looking at it, it's legitimately sad to think about having a friend like that, and then your friend is still there, but you can't talk to them anymore. Like, that's tapping into like real life stuff. That's definitely not a theme of the movie or anything, but definitely taps into something.
God.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah.
pretty real.
I
Yeah,
think
that's not the part that like awakens creativity in me, but just
yeah.
the style of storytelling and the way it makes me feel. It's like that one in Porco Rosso kind of fit into this a similar thing for me,
Hmm.
but it might be because of how aviation heavy they are, and that like with the strings and the wistful music and all the
Yeah.
being in the air, all that stuff kind of gets to me.
To very briefly bring it back to comics for a second, there was an observation that um, Scott McCloud made in his book um, Making Comics, where he did breakdowns of the types of panel transitions that Western comics made, as opposed to European and like uh, Eastern or Asian manga did. Um, and one of the transitions that like Japanese comics tend to make more than American comics are the aspect to aspect, which is what you're talking about. That very mood feel of just here are some ducks in a pond. It has nothing to
Yeah.
do with the story, but
Yeah.
you feel relaxed. You know, just watching water drip and you see the city, you see people walking around, and you get that vibe way more than, and this carries over into uh American movies too. You know, we're all about like the wide shot, then get in on your characters, like go.
Yeah.
But um uh
Yeah.
even like Parasites by Bong Joon-ho, you get more of that aspect where it'll just look at a tree for like a minute and you're like, all right, we're
Unsettling.
vibing. Yeah.
That's cool. I never actually thought about that one. That way of looking at it. That's nifty.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cool. Aspect to aspect is what he called it, which I thought was really fun to think about.
That's cool. Yeah. That's by the way though, that's definitely a movie you should go see, Anderson. That's a good one for the fam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the list.
Yeah. I'll jump into my next one, which is Ex Machina with Domhnall Gleeson, yeah, Oscar Isaac, and I can never pronounce the main actress's name, but
Alicia Vikander.
that one, yep,
Oh.
Alicia Vikander. But yeah, I know I love. That was one of the movies where I saw, and even after watching, I'm like that felt like so contained in one singular place. Like the whole movie, besides like seeing Gleason's character being at work and then going to Oscar Isaac's house, that whole movie took place in one area, which is very like unsettling, but also like it felt like away from the rest of the world. And similar to the reason why I like Nice Guys, I don't think any of the characters were good people. Like even Gleason's character in it, because the whole idea is that he's there to kind of talk to a robot and see if he can be tricked into thinking it's a real person. But he had, in my opinion, in the movie he kind of just had this view of her being like, oh, this is gonna be, if I free her, we're gonna be together, and it's gonna be sweet, and he just already set these expectations up. And oh my god, that movie's just so unsettling during the whole thing, and it doesn't, they don't
I don't
go
think that
anywhere.
necessarily makes him bad.
Well, it's like he's not like a terrible person, but like it's that like, hey, I'm putting this idea onto you that you have to be this person for me, which isn't necessarily
And
a good thing.
I think it's more sympathetic when you look at the light that she is playing that up and like
Yeah, she's
feeding
playing it
into that
up.
on purpose,
Yeah,
which is like
not a good thing
it's
either.
hard to. Well, I'm saying like it's hard to feel like he's the like that bad when she's
Yeah.
like also feeding into this on him.
Look, I 100% agree. He is not the worst person in there at all. Like
He's
he,
definitely the protagonist.
yeah,
Keith is over here, team's, robot. He's just trying to make sure that he doesn't get taken out by our robot overlords.
But yeah, so that's I still think that's
When
just a beautifully shot movie, and it has a random dance scene.
That's true. That
Yeah,
is a
that was
fun
good.
dancing. When was the last time you saw that movie?
2020, I think. Cause
Okay. Yeah, I saw it within the last year. And I tell you what, with all the stuff with AI and
mhm.
Yeah.
robotics and stuff nowadays, it hits real different. Because
Yeah.
the last time I had seen it was like 10 years ago when it came out. So
Mm.
watching it again, and it was Laura's first time watching it, it was like, ooh, this is troubling.
Yeah. I can imagine how unsettling it is now. That's another one I want to rewatch soon. Um so here's the thing, we're kind of running up close to an hour. Do you guys want to do a quick
Already?
yeah. See, look how fast this went.
Heck.
Do you guys want to do a quick just quick talk about one last movie you guys liked and something that inspired you, and then we'll see if anybody has any questions. If not, then we'll talk about things that we want to plug before we sign off.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Cool.
Um,
Sweet.
my last one, which I'm just gonna focus in on one thing specifically, is How to Train Your Dragon. So animated movie by DreamWorks. What I wanted to highlight in this is just the soundtrack. It was a movie where I walked out of the theater and the only thought on my mind was I am going home and I'm downloading that soundtrack now. Because it was so pivotal to the
Uplifting.
movie and yeah, just totally uplifting. And there's like
Yeah.
sad songs in it. Like
Mhm.
it's got everything in there. But every single song in that soundtrack is a banger. I just love it.
It goes to the credits on a particular banger, like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that Johnsy song.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
that was
pretty good.
that's pretty exceptional as a credit song.
Yeah. So I love that movie as well. Like I think it's a really fun movie. I'm not a particular fan of any of the sequels or spin-offs. Some of them are okay. But in general I'm also just very cynical about um sequels that aren't planned but are just done because it
Think it's
was
made a lot of
popular.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, made money, so let's make a sequel. I'm like, probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's another topic though. Um, but uh, yeah, I do love that that soundtrack particularly. Um,
Ooh.
and I used to travel a lot with one of my first jobs, and would love putting on headphones and that soundtrack and just going through the airport from like one terminal to the next, and it was so freeing.
Did you do it with your
Um,
arms out wide open?
oh yeah. Like I was just like,
Just
I don't
flying?
care what anybody thinks. Let's go, man. I'm gonna be obnoxious today. Yep.
Hilarious. All right,
Yeah.
Keith,
Well, I
you're
saw that
next.
I just want to say that I saw that movie for free because of a family member that worked for Intel, so they got like movie nights with the company. And that was a movie where it was like I had no expectations because it was it was a DreamWorks animated movie, and I was like, I don't
Yeah.
care about any of this. And I was just like, okay, all right. That was a really good time. And that's one of the few Blu-rays I bought.
Yep.
Back when I bought Blu-rays, I
Good
bought
movie.
like maybe 8 in my life, and that was one of them.
I feel like those movies that you have zero expectations going in, or like you know nothing about it, didn't see a trailer or something, like those tend to just be really solid because
You have no expectations for it.
so many so many expectations nowadays can ruin something.
That's how I went into
Yep.
Parasite, and I loved it.
Or
All right,
Predator.
Keith, you're next. What's your next movie?
My last movie is Fences.
What
I
is
don't
it?
know if you guys. It's called Fences.
Fences.
Oh,
Like,
baseball movie.
it's kind of a
Oh,
baseball movie, but it
Anderson
came out
hates
on
There's
those
like
hard
movies.
There's hardly any baseball in it, but yes, it is a
Yeah,
baseball.
there's a constant presence of baseball in it, but no, it's
Yeah.
not a baseball movie. But it's a Denzel Washington movie from 6 or 7 years ago. That it's based. I mean, it's just an adaptation of a August Wilson play, and it takes place in Pittsburgh in the 50s. It's just about a black family that's just like their life in Pittsburgh in the 50s, but it is again it's based on a play, and this like talking about things that energize you is the dialogue and the acting were just like going for me, where I'm just watching this thing that is all talking, like there's no any big scenes or anything like that. It's very much a character driven drama, and the writing was just for me like such a joy to just listen to. Um, and
Mm.
I'm and and it's not just the acting to do it, because I would look up videos of
Mhm.
the actual stage production to see like what it feels like to hear the same things from other people delivered in different ways, and it's like, nah, these like the writing is just crazy good. The dialogue in particular, I mean, that's all it is dialogue.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and it's yeah, it's just one of those getting I would like to see it like on stage, because I'm assuming it'll be way more electric, but seeing on film, just like watching the characters interact was, for me it was an electric thing, where it's just like, this is really good dialogue,
So
and
so
and
Yeah.
it's being presented in a yep.
so I
That's
actually
my
have a funny
movie.
story about this. If you ever see this, if you ever see it on stage, make
Uh-huh.
sure that you see it in the U.S. And here's a very funny reason why. Well, you can tell me if it's funny. My wife saw Fences on the West End
The
in
West End,
the West End.
bro.
I'm not gonna
Uh,
do the accent.
yeah, I'm not
Yep.
good at it either.
I
Oink.
don't.
Um,
I don't want to offend anybody
and
yet.
when she saw it, the character is like talking about, being a big baseball player, but there's this scene where he's like kind of pantomiming a baseball swing, but he does a cricket swing because
You go
that's
low with
their
it.
local sport.
You're talking
I'm
about
telling you a
me.
story, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sweet.
so what happened as a result of that acting, it feels like he's delusional. It changes like
Oh,
the whole story because this guy's actually crazy and was never able to swing a bat because look at his form. It's awful.
That's
I
funny.
like that.
That's an
So
interesting take. I like that. That's
so
cool.
yeah, it was either a brilliant acting choice or it was a total screw up.
Were they
Hilarious.
doing American accents?
Oh, they were doing an American accent. As far as I know.
Oi.
American accents? Oh yeah, the
Oi,
accents were
I
excellent.
want a hot dog. Is that what they did?
Bringing it back.
Watch me swing.
Hey, cowboy. It's good stuff like that. Love it. All right, I'll be quick on mine because we're coming up to an hour. But my last one that I'm going to talk about is About Time. It's a rom com.
Oh,
Real quick,
so good.
I was bringing up Fences, and one of the things that I wanted to say is that I don't think you can write dialogue like that and have it work in comics,
Interesting. I gotta check that one out then.
because you can't, like,
Can't
people
do an
can't.
American accent with British people.
No, I've done the same thing where it's like the whole thing where it's like Harrison Ford's saying to George Lucas, like, you're writing this stuff, but you can't say it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And there's a similar thing with, like, in comics, things that you would say, you don't want to write them literally because people
Yeah.
have a hard time parsing out what you're saying. So you can't write things naturalistically.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that and wanting to bring that up, that like that movie is one of those things where like seeing the dialogue and it's just like it's frustrating because I'm writing dialogue and I want it to feel like something someone would actually say, and you can't really do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
It's tough.
you don't want to. You can try to write like phonetically in a dialect, and that's pretty hit and miss. So that's just
Yeah.
bringing it back to the comics because I felt like that was important. About
Yeah.
Time. Is that the
About
Justin
Time.
Timberlake one?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Is that the
No, this
Justin
is not the
Timberlake-
Justin Timberlake one.
No.
That's In Time.
Okay,
That's a
what's
bad
About
movie.
Time?
This one is a rom-com about a time traveler. Rachel McAdams in it, but it's not time traveler's wife.
Is she also in that?
Yes.
She's not really. It's one of. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell us
No.
about it.
No, this like I love this movie for a similar reason you like Fences, because they actually made the family like talk like a real family in it. Like the husband or like the dad and the mom, the way they talk about each other, you could tell they love each other, but they're just shitting on each other the whole movie. They're like, "Oh my god, he's driving me nuts," or like he's just my life is gonna be boring without him, and if he dies, I'm gonna hate him. And it's just like it's really sweet stuff like that. But even like the characters just talking to each other, the main character is like an awkward guy who has like these time traveling abilities, but he doesn't want to like abuse them, and just like the character interactions with it, it's just a beautiful movie that by the end of it, the time traveling aspect is so like secondary, you're not even thinking about it anymore. You're caring about these people.
Is
Yeah,
Bill Nye in that?
He
He
is.
is.
He's a dad, and he's a
Okay.
good guy in that movie.
He's
I-
solid.
I've
It's just-
I've seen one scene from that movie because he was in it, and I
Yeah.
don't know why I saw it.
Oh,
It's him talking to his kid.
yeah. That movie makes me cry every time I watch it. I love it.
it's a solid. It's a solid banger.
It's just-
And it is sneakily. It's a father son movie. Really,
Yeah.
like it was billed as a rom com, and like here's Rachel McAdams in it. I would say she's hardly in it. Like it's
yeah.
like it's not really a rom com. It is really just like a life movie.
It's like people who love each other kind of thing, and it's that
Yeah,
character
yeah.
interaction, and that's what I look for. Like bringing it to comics ideas of it as well. Anytime I read a story or watch a movie, I want to know who these characters are. I want to know why I should care, and that does a perfect job of making me care for every single person, despite their flaws and any other intricacies or mannerisms they have. So,
Eccentricities.
eccentricities. I'm a writer.
I like eccentricities. That was fun.
But yeah,
Wait, say that again. What was it?
Eccentricity.
No.
Ectris-
No.
eccentricities.
Eccentricity.
I think now's a good time to let you guys know I was in speech class for like 4 years in elementary school, so I appreciate it.
Oh,
Thanks for
Sorry.
making fun of me. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Clearly it didn't work, so.
all right.
But yeah, that would be my final movie. But yeah, otherwise, hey, I think this was a good show.
Just to get it off our chest, I want to know what your other two movies were.
I'll let you guys know. My other two movies were Charlie Bartlett, and also because I felt like I had to put a comic book movie in, Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, that's a good one.
You
That's
can't
just-
talk about it.
Sorry.
But my final two were Jaws and a very little known film, The Triplets of Belleville. It's a
Where-
animated
that-
movie.
That
Sounds
little
made up.
known?
I mean I haven't ever told anyone about it that knew what it was. So
I have no idea
know
what it is.
it's a master class on character
Okay.
design.
My last two were The Green Knight and
That is a good movie. I just saw that. That is a good one.
oh yeah. You want to talk
Oh,
about
I
like
forgot about that.
that's the kind of thing where it's like that's made for me in the way that like ambiguity and imagery to just let you interpret and feel things out.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that I like.
I'll be honest. I cared more about the set pieces and how it looked more than I cared about the story for that one.
Yeah, that's that. Like
It's a
I'm not even
beautiful
saying like
movie.
the story was there. It was
Yeah.
there's a lot to chew on.
Yeah.
And Royal Tenenbaums. Was my other one.
Damn. That's the one you're going to choose? My fiance loves Rushmore, so that's her favorite.
Which one did she see first? I think it's
Uh,
like Miyazaki movies.
yep. Honestly, it's probably exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, by the way, Anderson, the only comment that we have right now that I think you should see is from Iki that says Triplets of Belleville is great.
Hmm.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
good. I'm glad to hear someone else has seen it. Yes, it is a fantastic
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been actively you can ask Susan. I was trying to find it. I didn't want to have to buy it because I wanted to see it because I hadn't seen it yet because I remembered the trailers from when we were a kid. Like that, the music from the trailer, and the imagery of that. It's just been one of those rent-free things in my head for 20 years. And
Y-
yeah, I would really like to see it.
Yeah, I
But
think you would definitely vibe with it.
yeah,
Adding it
it's
to
it's
my
one of those things I
list.
know I'll like. Would you say, Kristian?
I'm adding it to my list because this is the first I'm hearing
Oh,
of it. Is it as good as Treasure Planet? It came out around the same time.
Yeah, yep,
Okay. I'll check it out
easily.
then. Cool. All right. Well, hey, this was fun. Anything you
Cool.
guys want to promote? Last plugs, last promotions?
mm-mm.
I can go first. Give you guys some thoughts.
Yes, I am deep in working on the Naturals. This is the Cyber League baseball comic. So it's gonna be coming out on Webtoons at the end of March. Um, and I'm also so if you subscribe to my newsletter, you'll hear about it. But I'm also gonna be launching a Patreon soon. I'm gonna see how that
Oh,
works. So that should be coming out at the beginning of March, and then the comic will start to come out at the end of March. Um, but yeah, I'm very excited. I'm doing a lot of fun with this series, drawing a lot of really cool characters. Um, and if you love baseball, I think you'll really like it. If you like action comics and some intrigue, there's some intrigue in the story. I think you'll enjoy it as well. So
Nice. I'm excited to read it all and its finality.
yes,
Keith, you got anything you want to plug, promote?
none we hadn't already talked about.
Okie dokie.
Okey-dokey.
Well,
I
final
think
thing
I've
from
finished.
nice. I'll do my final plug and we'll show off your guys' art so everyone can see it. My final thing is my Kickstarter's over in about a week. So I've already funded. There's a few stretch goals. But
woohoo!
issue 1 of We Call Them Myths comes out. Hoping to have it by end of March. If not end of March, sometime in April. I'm getting married at the beginning of April, so that's kind of my big focus. And then, yeah, I'll see what shows I'm doing. I think, Anderson, are you officially confirmed for MomoCon?
I am, but I'm not on the page. I don't know what the deal is. I need to talk to somebody. I
Did you,
talked to I talked to our contact about it last year.
yeah.
And she said I was good to go, but I just hadn't heard anything since. So I'm just gonna double check and
Yeah, just send your
touch base
pictures
with
so we're
people.
all. Because Keith is going. His picture's near mine.
Yeah, boy.
It's great.
They stuck us next to each other.
Yeah,
Really,
we look like brothers.
synergizing. Mm.
It's
This
cool.
was a little bit more than I meant.
Seems like more of a wrestling thing when they do the. But yeah, so that's what's going on with me. We'll see what other new books I have coming out this year. There's a few I have in the plan, but nothing I want to share yet. But yeah,
Okay.
you guys ready to show off what you worked on?
You're
I'm gonna start
Hey,
with
voila.
Keith, showing the big screen on his.
Oh, okay.
Wow, look at that little madman. He looks happy.
Wow.
he's so mad.
Should be a happy man.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah. I originally drew him holding his little yo-yo up, and I decided I'm not doing that. We're just gonna do a bust. We're just gonna do a bust.
Coward. It looks good though.
That's fine.
Cool. And
Well,
then
if I had added the hand, it would have gotten more square. And I wanted to keep it more vertical.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, and then Anderson,
I
go
got
into yours.
I busted the screen tone out. Don't know if you noticed.
Oh, I did on the chest. I noticed
Yeah.
that. Looks good. And then Anderson, you got football players.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
No, these are the baseball players.
Ah, yes, that sport.
You
Yeah.
mean American
Different.
baseball?
I think it's
Yep.
pronounced football in other countries.
Whatever.
It's base BOL.
Yeah.
Base. The base.
You guys, I'm so excited for this. Ugh.
I'm
It's
excited
gonna
to
be fun.
see more.
When
Huh?
does it officially launch?
It's gonna come out opening day of Major League Baseball. I've timed it with that. So opening day of Major League is the first episode will drop on Webtoons.
Yeah.
What day is that?
It's a Thursday, so I might actually do it the day before because then it's with New Comic Book Day. But
More fun.
What month? Is that?
anyways, March. Sorry, I'm giving you the information as slow as possible. March
Hey,
28th.
What year is that?
March
Milk and
28th,
Bowl?
2024. 2 days
Cool.
before my birthday.
Gotcha. What time?
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
How far?
Alright.
in advance have
Sometime.
you got it?
Huh?
How far in advance have you already gotten?
Not very.
Okay.
Nerd.
I'm running. I'm running into a truck, full speed.
Well,
Should be fun.
if anybody wants to keep up with you, I did put your Instagrams, both your Instagrams, in the description of the YouTube. So if you guys want to keep up to date and you're not already following them, you should. So then we'll be showing off more. But yeah, I think that's it for us. We're officially calling ourselves the Deep Fried Comics Gang.
Gang?
Deep Fried Comics.
Deep
I don't
Fried
want
Comics.
anybody to get any ideas about there being a CD element involved. We're not rum runners.
I mean, we can
Yeah. No gangs. No gangs. Just Deep Fried
Deep
Comics.
Fried Comics Gang.
We're
I'm
not
gonna call us a
distributing
gang
any hot dog based
The gang.
because we all look like we belong in a gang. Anyways, yeah, that's gonna be us. Thanks so much for joining up with us. We had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back next month, probably first Thursday of March.
Yeah, which is like the 7th, I
Cool.
think.
Yeah, we'll post about it. We'll make it a little bit more. If there's anything you guys want us to talk about, send us messages, comment. We'll check them out, and I'll relay it to these two fine gentlemen. Otherwise, you guys have a good one, and we'll see you next month. Toodaloo.